Yo, what's up to Viewpoint of Rye, episode 3. We are live. If you're new here, I'm John, and I can't even talk. I'm an American that's been living here in Guangdong, China for 14 years. And you can see I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Alex. What's good?
Not much, man. And for those who do not know me, I'm Alex. I'm also an expat living abroad now for about 15, almost 16 years. We want to welcome you guys to episode 3. And other than that, man, hopefully you've been doing all right yourself.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we talked. It's been a couple weeks. I'm doing all right, though. Ain't nothing changed. Same old stuff.
Let's give a shout out.
What's up?
Let's give a shout out to David B's, his first time live streaming, but it's actually not our first time. This is our 3rd episode. So welcome.
Yeah, the 3rd episode of the podcast. This is our second live stream. The first one was a little bit, we're still experimenting with it. But thanks for watching, man. Today, we're going to be talking about dating here in China. Alex used to live here in China for quite a while. I'm still here in China. So we're going to talk all about dating in China, everything you need to know, basically the ups, the downs, the ins, the outs, the good, the bad, the ugly, the nasty, and everything in between, I guess. So, Alex, what's the first thing you want to think about, or first thing you want to talk about when it comes to dating situation in China?
Well, okay. So actually, I wrote some stuff down. I got like a little list on my phone. Let me actually pull that up real quick. Oh, where the heck did it even go, bro?
So while you're looking that up, let me ask you a question about this real fast. It's like you're in Vietnam now, but what age were you here in China? Whenever when you first arrived in China and started dating with Chinese girls, what age were you when you first started that?
Oh man, I'm gonna have to do some math, and that's one of the subjects that I've always been terrible at. But one more thing to mention, there's like some bad. You said you're having some bad weather or whatever, so we having like a little delay sometimes. So
we having some bad storms. Some bad storms right now. Hey, what's up, David? What's up, David? Nemo. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. But, hey, best way to teach in China? I can answer that for you real quick. It really depends on a few factors. One of the factors is going to be actually where you're from, right? So if you're a native English speaker from, America, Australia, Canada, England, something like that, then it's much easier than if you're from somewhere else. And also, when it comes to that, you also need a degree, right? So you need a bachelor degree, but any subject, it ain't got to be in like a particular subject like English or something like that. It could be any subject. So that's basically the basics to what you need. And then, you got to get your document certified and stuff. But if you have any questions, let us know, man. I'll try to help you out with that. I've been doing that for a long time. Yeah, South Africans is okay. Lots of South Africans here. I got a few friends, South Africa teaching here.
Man, like all the guys that I actually know here in Vietnam that are teaching English that I've came across, they're actually all from South Africa as well.
Yeah,
I got
a dude.
I got a dude that I work with. He's from South Africa. And I got a dude that works also at my part-time job at night. He's also from South Africa. So South Africans are definitely over here, man.
Yeah, for sure. I know of at least 10 dudes. One of them's a really good friend of mine. I've known for at least 11, 12 years. South African dude. He's working here teaching for a long time. As long as you got a degree, man, David, you just need a degree in any subject, a bachelor degree. And then you just got to get your documents apostle now, and then you're good to go. As far as China and Vietnam, I can't answer that question because I never worked in Vietnam. I've only worked here in China, but Alex has done both. He can probably help you out with that. But I can tell you right now, the salary in China is going to be much better. Alex can tell you more about the difference between the two.
Yeah, that was going to be my main, point. Is a significant change in salary for transitioning from China to teaching in Vietnam. Man, I wish I had made Chinese money here in Vietnam, because man, I took like probably like $2,000 or $3,000 loss moving and working in Vietnam. So yeah, if you're in it for the money, go to China. But if you kind of want to chill and I guess have more of a relaxed environment, probably come to Vietnam is just you want to manage your time.
Actually,
Hopefully,
I got a question about that too. When it comes
yeah.
to the
What's up?
environment for
Yeah,
the students. I know we're supposed to be talking about dating, but this just came up. So when it
it's all
comes to the
good,
students, what's the difference between the students? Like teaching the students in China and Vietnam, is there any difference? And for the bosses, like working for the leadership, the management, is there any major difference between the style of management and
bro.
the workload, stuff like that?
Not at all. There's no difference in the management. It's all in the army, as we say, a clusterfuck. And you gotta, if you can't get
Welcome
out
it.
of it, if you can't get out of it, you gotta get into it. And here's my thing, man. Like I don't
Welcome to
obviously,
Asia.
yeah, I don't hate management. I don't hate the people that I work for or the management. I just kind of dislike the way they do this because here's the thing, and I think John you can vouch for this as well. The thing is, they don't really hire people who are experienced or qualified in in the positions, especially like management, etc.
Yeah.
They hire people to fill, they fill the just to fill the slot. You know what? Yeah, they might give them like a little training, but they're very unqualified for the position. So that's where a lot of mess really happens.
Oftentimes here in China, it's based on guanxi. Well, if you don't know Chinese language, guanxi, it means face, right? So if you know some important people, you can get a high position. And a lot of times
Yeah.
in these management, in these big companies, you have people who, who know the right people. They get in these positions and they don't know what they're doing. So the way they manage is kind of poor. But, it's kind of it's the Asian style too. Everything's last second, but they're nice people. They just, sometimes pain in the ass. But other than that, it's not too bad.
Yeah, and he said, is it
Recruit.
better to respond to ads or to respond to a recruit? I can't see the edge of it, but
Is it respond to ads or to use a recruiter? Better to respond to ads or use a recruiter. Um, Man, in my experience, I got my first job just knocking on doors, like literally just show up to the school and be like, "Hey, you need a teacher," and I've got jobs like that, and I've also got jobs through recruiters, both. Um, Now, there's some ups and downs to recruiters. Recruiters can obviously give you access to a lot more jobs, and if the recruiter likes you, they'll put you in front of some really good places. But you also,
yeah,
on the flip side, you have to be careful with the recruiters because there are some scammers out there. So you have to be careful with that and just really,
oh,
just be safe and pay close attention to who you're working with and try to get some feedback from, other teachers who've used that recruiter. If you got like some, people give you word of mouth that this person's good, that person's good, then you're probably okay. But if you just go in like, after any recruiter, just be careful and make sure that you're not, dealing with somebody who's going to scam you or cheat you or put you in like some really
yeah,
crappy place or something like that.
because that's a whole nother story
Yeah.
as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's oh boy, like I said, we don't. I think we both kind of experienced that the first couple of years we were there, where people try to scam you out of money or pay you half of your salary, and they collect your other half. But actually, I think it's not really that bad anymore, man. Like these,
A lot
yeah,
of,
no
yeah.
problem. But these recruiters, man, they want to have a job, so now they're more so. I guess I wouldn't say go by the law, but like they want to make money and they want to get as much people as they can, so they kind of stick to I guess the quote unquote rules and do it the right way.
Yeah, a lot of the scam stuff has disappeared. It's not, there's still some out there, but it's not like it used to be. But there's one thing I'll tell you, if you still here, David, is the one thing, it's like you didn't specify, but I'll just be straight honest with you, blunt with you. You know, it I'm not sure what color you are. In South Africa, you have a lot of black folks, you have white folks, and you have some like brown skin, like Indian type descent, stuff like that. And a lot of times, if you're not white, you're gonna get less job offers or job offers for less money than if you are a white person. So just telling you that just to look out for that because some people will, try to lowball you on that. But
Yeah,
if
it's
you're
still
a
kind
white
of
skinned dude, you'll get better job offers and better, better salary, better payment, stuff like that. It's just
yeah.
kind of the way it
I
works
mean,
here.
sorry to cut you off. I don't think it's actually too bad these days, man. Like I think in Vietnam, it's still. I had.
Licks.
I actually had. Yo, what's good, bro?
What
This
up?
is
What up,
actually.
Oshi?
yo, this was one of my like students back in China. Like we did like some summer camp together or whatever. But bro, a 54-year-old white man at 54, your age can also be a problem actually. And John,
Yeah,
you can kind of attest to that due to the
yeah.
situation you just experienced.
Yeah, that it can be a problem there, David. Your age, like I'm 42 or 43 this year, and I've actually got turned down from some jobs because they said I was too old. So it really depends on what you're interested in teaching. Now, more for your age or our age, like when you get above 40, especially you start looking like me, you get some gray hair and stuff. A lot of times, a lot of like primary school stuff like that are really going to overlook you. They're not going to be interested in you. Your best bet is to seek out universities instead. So for the university jobs, they prefer
Yeah, you
people
can.
like us who have
Yeah,
gray hair, that kind of thing. And actually, university jobs are pretty cush too. Like the you have less hours. You ain't got to be at work all day. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of show up, do the like your however many classes, one or two classes, and you go to the house. So it's more laid back. So it has that going for it. But for the young
yeah,
kids, it'd be hard to find.
yeah. I
What's
mean,
up, Oshi? What's good? What's good, Oshi? I see you.
but yeah, we're supposed to. No,
No,
university, you don't
no,
really
no,
need a
no.
master's, bro. No.
No,
It's in
bachelor's good.
Asia, it's different. As long as you have a bachelor's, like he said, in any field, you can pretty much get a job. But the thing that you mentioned earlier about, being black or Indian or whatever, you can definitely still get a job. It's just
Oh, for
like
sure, for sure.
if you are presentable, because I have some people, man, in China still and Vietnam who are actually in some prominent positions as far as education goes, or
Yeah,
being an educator. You know what I mean? It's
yeah, the
just
same
how
here.
you, yeah,
It's just
yeah,
more
how
it's
you
just
apply
more
yourself.
difficult.
But yeah, it is, dude. I had a lady I worked for straight up told me she was like, yo, these, because they had like some, I don't know where exactly, so I'm just gonna say Africa. Some Africans move in into the area that she lived in, and they came down and they asked her for a job, and she was like, no, I don't want uh you don't want any
Yeah,
black
yeah,
folks working here. So I was like, this still kind of weird, man. In 2024 it's like that,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I mean? But
I've worked beside some black dudes who made same salary I made, and then have other black dudes that I've known, and they get offered jobs for a quarter of what I make, just because they're
yeah,
black. And it's
yeah,
kind of it's just the way that you gotta look around. But yeah, man, you
yeah,
don't need a master's degree, bro. Bachelor's degree is still good for even for university here in China. If you're teaching English, like if you're going to teach a specialized subject, like you're going to teach mathematics or economics or something, sometimes they require a master's degree. But for English, they don't require, just a bachelor's in any subject, and you're good to go. So I hope that's helpful, man.
yeah.
And thanks
But
for watching too, man. Appreciate that.
yeah, appreciate that. But just as long as there's engagement, I'm sure we'll answer your guys' questions. But our
Yeah, for
main
sure.
topic for today was supposed to be dating in China. But hey, man, it is what it is. You know what I mean? It's good to interact with some people on your page, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of dating in China, I've seen some young dudes come over here, like 25 years old and get jobs in universities and end up dating the girls because they, 21, 22. They've had
Yeah,
some good experiences doing that. Actually, meet some nice, educated girls, that kind of thing. But I've never done
yeah,
that, so I've always taught younger kids for the most part. It's just what
yeah.
I'm
Actually,
good at.
you asked me what age was I when I came, bro. I'm trying to 24 or 26. I can't remember exactly. It was one of
Yeah,
those. So
I'm just
26,
curious.
27, 28, 29, 30, 31. No, it had to be, I had to be younger than that. So
I
I had to
was
be
I was
24.
28.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah. I had
28,
to be
28 when
24.
I arrived.
Dude, this the thing, man. I was working at a high school. Actually, I was working in a boarding school. So they had grades 1 through 12, and they had
Yeah,
18-year-old girls. You know what I mean? 18-year-old chicks in the class, in this high school class, and they try to you know
yeah, they flirt
talk
with
to
you and
you,
that
bro.
kind of
Because
thing. Yeah,
I was over there, and I was like in the rural part of Shenzhen where it was still being like established or whatever. So the the, the kids, or I guess 18, you want to call them a young adult or whatever, however you want to put it. You know, they live in a boarding school, you know, and they only go home on the weekend, so they never get to see, like, they didn't really see foreigners. And I think we were the first wave of foreigners that were working at this school. It was called China U.S. School. That was it was called.
I never
You
never
know,
heard of that
so
before.
yeah, man, I had some girls that try to come up to me, but obviously I can't. I don't know if it's called fraternizing in this aspect or whatever, but you know, I can't, I couldn't do it, man. Imagine,
Yeah,
bro,
of
you get
course.
in some trouble because yo, all these parents there, man. There's like some rich people in some high positions that send their kids to these boarding school, man. You mess around, bro, end up in some Chinese prison
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
something.
you
Yeah,
yeah, you wouldn't do nothing like that. But yeah,
yeah,
I've met some people working at schools though. Like, my first job was actually at a kindergarten, and the innocent young kids, they here they start kindergarten 2, 3 years old. There's lots of hot moms want to talk to you and flirt with you and send you pictures and this kind of stuff. Had that
yeah.
experience quite a bit in my younger days when I was in my 20s.
Mm,
Yeah, it was
same.
good fun. Hey, what's up,
Yeah,
Mr. Chuprov, the educational dreamers? You sound like you work at my
yeah,
job. That's what they be saying at work all the time, but they crazy, crazy English. Uh,
yeah. What's up, bro?
so
Chuprov, привет.
Privyet.
Yeah. But okay.
So
Well, here's the thing, man. Sorry, bro.
no, I was about to ask you, man.
Well,
What was you gonna say about the or what we talking about today about the dating these girls?
yeah, I got like a little guideline. What about like the, you know, when you, well, first of all, what's the approach? What's the difference in approach? I just guess we can ask each other questions. What's the difference in approach? Like, for example, if you're a man and you want to date a woman in China, what's the approach method? Or actually, we can't really
Okay.
speak on their behalf. I wonder how, I guess, a woman, a foreign, what it's like for a foreign woman trying to date in China. Like maybe that's a good topic. We can try to put somebody on here one time,
Yeah, I've
maybe
talked
a
to a few
woman,
girls
and
about
see.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. How is like what's the difference in approach to you, like as
Uh,
far as in China or US or whatever?
it's been a mixed bag, to be honest with you. Like back home, I didn't do nothing. The girls just come to you. But
Hmm.
back home, I don't know. They just girls, I don't know. Maybe Western girls are just more open or something. Girls come to me all the time.
Yeah.
I had a new girlfriend every week. But here in China, it's also possible, I guess, if you want. 'Cause, when I was young, the same thing
Oh,
happened.
I
Like,
knew some dudes, bro. They had a girlfriend every week, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you're a younger dude in China, especially like, when I was younger, I was more handsome and stuff too. And, wasn't a lot of foreigners around, and girls would approach me even then, just out of curiosity, even they shy, it's just more out of curiosity. And so you still get approached by a lot of women here in China.
Yeah.
But oftentimes, not all of them are gonna come to you. So you do, especially now getting older, and also the way China has changed and gotten more used to the foreigners and stuff, you kind of have to do the approaching now, as opposed to previously you didn't really have to. They would come to you, but now you have to, do that kind of thing. Hey,
Yeah.
Antonio Wong, what's up? How you doing, man? Or Antonia, how you doing, girl?
Antonia.
Sorry. How you doing? You doing all right? Thanks for joining us tonight. We're talking about dating in China tonight, and so yeah, if you got any questions for us, let us know. We'd be curious to know, especially coming from a woman. We'd be curious to know if you have any questions
Yeah.
related to foreigners dating Chinese girls or this kind of thing. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my experience, in America, girls always came up to me and approached me. In my earlier days in China, same thing. Getting older now, and Chinese people are just more used to foreigners now. So it's quite rare actually to get approached by a Chinese girl. You really have to do the approaching. So,
Some interesting questions coming in.
oh no, the body count, the body count question.
What a,
Oh
is it a
snap.
combination of both or a single, you know?
What's the other? Oh, the gorilla. Yeah, I have to tell the story. I told this True Prob. I used to work with this guy named True Prob. He's in the comments. I told him a story uh, about he says the gorilla girl. I don't know if you heard about this story or not, Alex. But
Nah, bro.
can I tell you real fast? It's just a funny
I
little
mean,
experience I had.
bro, I'm down, bro. Like I said, this is just an overall
All right,
experience of,
I'll
yeah,
tell
go
y'all
ahead.
about the I tell everybody about the Gorilla Girl. Um, the reason why he calls it that, it was a really weird experience.
My
This girl,
curiosity has been piqued, bro.
the Gorilla Girl, the gorilla. Uh, no, like, I met this girl on this app. They have this dating app in China, and it's like I don't know. I've never had any. To be honest, I never had any luck with dating apps in China. A bunch of weirdos and Photoshop and stuff. But anyway, some girl in this dating app, she asked if she could add my WeChat. So like, okay, so she added my WeChat, and then one day I was out, having dinner or something. I was by myself, but I took a picture of my dinner, and the location shows up on the WeChat, like on the friend circle, and so she seen where I was at, and then she just showed up at the place where I was at. I was like eating outside it was like summertime, eating outside on the patio having my dinner. The girl showed up. Yeah, the girl sat down, man. She sat down, but she's like pointing at this chair, like just pointing at the chair, like the empty seat. So I was by myself, and I was like, you want to sit down? And she's like, just look confused. So I asked her in Chinese, like, Mom, like, do you want to sit here? She's like, shake her head, yeah. I'm like, okay, sit down, it's okay. So she sit down, and then she's just like, woo, woo, like a monkey, man. It's like, woo, woo. And I was like, what? And I was like, just talk. And she's like, woo, woo, like a monkey, man. Like, woo, sound like a monkey. And so I asked her in Chinese, like, can you speak English? She's like, no. I said, can you speak Chinese? I'm speaking Chinese to her. I said, 你会说中文吗？你听得懂我说什么？ can you understand what I'm saying? And she's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And I said, so I tell the girl, like, man, just say something, I can understand what you're saying. I was like, 如果你说我会听懂，没事. I can understand you. And she just go, woo, 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 like just grunting and stuff, man, like a monkey. And I'm like, man, what is going on with this girl? She ain't saying nothing. This is so weird. And so, man,
what happened? Did she just stay there or what?
She was just sitting there, and I was like, I looked at her, and I was like, I'm sorry, but I gotta go. And I just left.
Don't speak monkey, bro.
Yeah, like I got to go. I just left. I felt bad, but I was like, man, I can't be doing this shit. So I left, and then like I never heard from her for like 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks later, she sent me a message, and she says, you don't like me because I can't talk. I said, what you mean? And she said, she sent me the message, and she says, I'm deaf, I can't speak. I was like, oh shit, I had no idea, but like the whole time she was sitting there, it was so weird because she was just like, whoo, like a monkey. And I was like, man, what is this girl doing? Like,
I would have been like, Nisha holds them up.
Yeah, she didn't get out. She could have got her phone out or something, like put a message, and said, I can't speak. She didn't even bother. She was like, ooh, like a monkey.
That's so crazy, bro.
It's crazy. I was like, yeah, it's so weird, man.
I had a similar experience in Shenzhen, bro. Like my friends and I, we used to go party at, Coca Park, right?
Yeah.
Go Gongyuan. That's where we used to go party back in the day, bro. And this deaf girl would always come and party at the club, and like she'd be over there dancing, and like I'm not poking fun of deaf people, but I was like, man, how can she like vibe to the music? And she'd be trying to there pick up dudes, but like she can't hear nothing. You know what I mean? But she was always there at the club I don't know, man. It was a peculiar thing. But I guess to guide us back a little bit, man, like, I don't know, man. My approach in China was like, when it came to dating, like if I was, I guess, interested in somebody, bro, I'll be 100% like honest over here. And I know when people usually say that, they're lying, but bro, no, I'm serious, man. Like, I never really approached the girls, man. You know what I mean? I always I don't know, man. A lot of people say that Chinese women are traditional, and I think they are. But like, if they like you, they'll actually go for you, bro. You know what I mean? And I always had this experience, I guess, is where I didn't have to do nothing. Like I said, if you look presentable, clean, you dress nice. I don't know, man. I had quite a lot of women that actually came and approached me. It was kind of very seldom where I had to do that. And usually the women who did that, they end up being very wealthy women for some reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I kind of had similar experience. Like, I used to be more handsome in my younger days too, but nowadays it's a little different. You don't really have to approach women, but you have to put in some type of effort. You gotta,
Yeah.
you gotta do something. You can't just, nothing comes for free. But yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Actually, the other
But
day, man, a lady approached me at the coffee shop, man. I was at the coffee shop, and some lady, she was like, I was talking to the workers. They all know me there. I go there all the time.
yeah,
And the lady was like, "Oh, your Chinese is really good, blah blah." Like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "I'm from America." And she goes,
yeah,
she's like, look confused, man. She's like, "Why are you here?" And I was like, "I work here." And she said, "Oh, but America is bad. Y'all don't even like China." I said,
mm,
"I don't know about America, but I mean, I like China. I've been here for so long. If I didn't like it, I'd go home." And she said, "Oh, you like
yeah.
China?" I was like, "Well, yeah, of course. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here." And then after that, she started to be friendly, And then
Yeah.
she walked out the
Oh, that's
door,
good.
and then she turned around and came back, and she's like, "Add my WeChat. I want to talk to you again." I was like, "Okay, whatever,
Mm.
fine." So,
Well, that's
she
the
asked me
thing,
for
man.
my
Like,
information.
that's the interesting thing, man. I think we kind of discussed it, on the earlier podcast where this propaganda and this misconception is being fed to both sides. The Americans about China and the Chinese about Americans. So now they have these stereotypical views of, oh, well, he's American, he must not like China. Let us stay away from them. And then in America, they feel the same way about Chinese people because they're being fed these lies. You know what I mean? But once you
Yeah,
really get to know people, like I said before, at the end of the day, we're doing the same thing, bro. You know
yeah,
what I
for
mean?
sure, for sure.
So yeah, that's a interesting thing. But
Oh, he said he
what do you
added
say?
some. He
What do you
added
say?
some Middle East girls, but they all deleted him. Let me show it on. Can I show this? There we go. I added some Middle East girls. They deleted me after they saw my Israel flag on WeChat.
Well, this is
Yeah,
exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah. This
You
kind of
know?
the same thing with this China America thing. This thing's going on to this Israel, Israel and uh, Palestine thing, and people have their opinions, and all this stuff always divides people instead of
Yeah.
everybody. We all the same, man. We all doing the same stuff. We just trying to live our life, and this stuff. People have
Uh,
strong opinions.
yeah. I
But
mean, I
anyway,
lost some friends over that as well, but
yeah.
that's for another topic. We can get political later, but we try.
Actually, tell me about this approaching thing, man. Like she said, the girls be approaching you. Did you ever get on any dating apps while you were here in China? And if you
Oh yeah.
did, like, did you have any luck with it? Like, did you actually meet some people off of it, or
Um,
have any type of relationship from that kind of thing?
Look, I guess the most prevalent ones in China was well at that time I was there was I guess Tantan and
Yeah,
Tinder,
that's where I
and
met
then
the gorilla
also
girl.
yeah, and they also had Momo. I don't know if you ever heard of
Okay.
Momo, but
I used that
usually
before. I had a funny
yeah.
experience on that, but anyway, yeah. I
Well,
used that like 10 years
here's the
ago.
thing. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like I used it, and like I said, you will never really find any foreigners on there. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because it's all in Chinese. There's no English, so But
Yeah.
I figured out how to use it, and actually, if you are out trying to, have a high body count and bag woman, you'll stand out like a sore thumb on there because, like I said, just has no foreigners usually on there. And if you are a foreigner and you can speak somewhat Chinese, then you can have pretty decent luck of meeting up or dating women or whatever. And then Tantan,
I ain't gonna lie,
this
I added to my body count with that Momo.
yeah, bro.
Yeah, I
But
was
this
on
is
there,
what I'm
man.
saying.
I just take
But
something funny real quick. I was on there, and there was a girl nearby, and she
yeah,
said some message to me, and she's like, "Where you at?" And I told her, and she's like, "Oh, I live here too." It's like live in the same building, and she's like, "What
yeah,
floor are you on?" And I told her, and then 10 minutes later, she was knocking on my door, and then she
yeah.
came in and did the thing, and then and left.
Well, this is
Never
what
heard
I'm.
from her again.
This is exactly what I'm saying, man. It's like
I got used.
not to knock women in China and the traditional, viewpoint most people have, but like I said, if they want something, this is my experience, my personal experience. If the women that I've met, like I said, if they wanted something, um, you know what I mean, they will go for it. You know what I mean? Kind of just like that.
Yeah,
Even as
I
I
think it's
guess it's
kind
a
of
sexual
it's just
experience, but it's something that they want it and they will go for it, bro. Like I said, not a lot of women would be like, hey, I don't know you, let me go knock on your door or whatever. So you
Yeah,
also
yeah.
have, you also got to have this like approachable look to you, if you know, or aura or a vibe to you, or what, I don't know how to explain it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, just opposite end of the spectrum too, just people who is completely opposite of that, who you could try a million times and nothing would ever happen. But at the same time, there's the ones who are, that just show up in your life and bam, bam, and then they gone. Like there's them too. Have both sides.
Yeah, I don't know
Stop
what that's.
inviting Digger to Asia. What's that all about? I don't know. What's up, Jack
Maybe the
Mercer?
maybe the D is supposed to be the N, bro.
Oh, maybe that's
Yeah,
what it is. Yeah, this and there actually has been a big rise in Africans coming to China recently,
where?
but all over China. I think it's got to do with China is in Africa doing a lot of stuff, for the country, for the different countries
Yeah,
in Africa doing infrastructure and stuff. And I think it's because of that, the relationships growing between uh, these different African countries and China. And there's been a huge inflow of African people, like from just
mm,
various countries in Africa, Nigeria and Ghana and a lot of other places. Ethiopia, I've seen a lot of people from there,
yeah.
like places like that, flowing into China recently. And a lot of them are studying here, working here, things like that.
So I don't
Some
understand
people
this
like it, some
topic.
people don't.
What do you mean? What do you mean? Stop inviting them? No, we're not inviting them to come as they come if they want.
Yeah,
The
China
people.
needs
Oh,
immigration. Can you see these comments, man? I don't know if you can see. Let me put these up
yeah,
here.
yeah, I can see it.
This is the latest one. China needs immigration. Yeah. There's a lot of, I don't know how to say it, man. Like a lot of people going on about the decline in population in China, and it's hard to say if they need immigration or not. There's certain things that they may need. There was during COVID, there was a
Mm,
large outflow of people. A lot of foreigners left. Like it was something like more than 50% of the foreigners in China left. It's like more than 50% of all the foreigners in China left, and they didn't come back. Uh, Especially when it comes to these teachers, native speakers who are teaching English and stuff like that. A lot of them left and didn't come back. They went to places
yeah.
like to Vietnam and stuff like that, and they decided not to come back. Uh, but it is what it is. I'm still here. I'll
Yeah.
populate. I will populate China if they let me.
Huh.
No, I won't do
Okay.
that.
So
I'm just joking.
I guess yeah, I guess the next thing. What about like as far as like hospitality? Um, like I guess with Chinese. Well, I don't know, man. Like when I did, I'll be honest with you. In my 7 years, I had one serious relationship, and the other ones I was kind of messing around and didn't really care that much. And
I had two serious
uh,
relationships for a long time. Like I had one for like more than a year, and the other one was for 7 years. So I had two serious relationships. But I've been here for 14 years, so
yeah,
basically 8 of the 14 was with you know in a long relationship, and the other time was you know being
yeah,
single or having fun, that kind of thing.
yeah. So how does that like? Do the women take care of the man, or does it, or is it like, is it a misconception? Is it, or the women more like westernized now, or well, actually back then, like I still didn't really experience. Look, man, and this is not to stir any controversy or anything, but it's like there's not really a whole lot of difference between women in the West than I guess in the East, with an exception of I guess a stronger family values. That's probably one of the biggest things. But other than that, it's like I guess like men anywhere in the world. Like there's good men, there's bad men, there's good woman,
Yeah.
there's bad woman. You know what I mean?
But we all have our different things too. Like for some reason, I know a lot of dudes who complain about
Yeah.
the girls that they're with and that kind of thing. But the girls that I've been with, like the ones I actually had relationships with, for
Yeah.
me, they were good. They did. I mean, they did things that I expected or things that I liked. I didn't
Mm.
have any problems with them per se. So,
Yeah.
the two long relationships that I had here, they didn't even end on bad terms. It just ended basically on differences of where our life was headed. But there was
Yeah.
not any bad blood or nothing like that. We were all still friends and all this kind of stuff. It just no difference in what we wanted in life the way part of the ways. So overall, when it comes to my idea of a relationship, mine were pretty good. Um, the first one I had, um, I'm not gonna say she did a lot for me, but her
Yeah.
family was really nice. Her family treated me well. Her mom cooked food every day and things like that. Always feed me good and this kind of thing. And I mean, the
Oh
girl
yeah,
was
that's nice.
was good. She provided, like I guess you say like emotional support. Like if I need anything, she was always there. Is everything
Yeah.
okay? What can I do? Like basically in your life to make you feel better, make you feel happy. Like she was always there 100%. Uh, and then the other girl I was with for 7 years, a long time. Her family
Yeah.
was wonderful. Her whole family treated me really great. Uh, they even still treat me great to this day. Really, really nice people. And
Mm.
she was an independent woman too. She worked, have a good job, make a lot of money, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But every day, she did like the things that I like, which she'd come home from work, she would cook the dinner for me. She would never spend money, which I didn't even mind. But
Yeah.
every weekend, she'd be like, "Oh, we got to clean the house," and I'm like,
Mm.
"No, let's just hire somebody. I got money. I pay the people come clean. We just go have the weekend to ourselves." She's like, "No, no, no, it's a waste of money, blah blah." And she'd clean up the whole house, cook, clean every day, all that stuff, and have a good job. And I can't complain about being taken
But
care of. She took good care of me. So
yeah, that sounds like someone that is, I guess, genuinely a good person, but a good person or whatever. Because I remember you telling me you guys even went and traveled together, and you know what I
mm,
mean.
we travel
So
everywhere.
yeah, man, you had a good experience um, in China as far as like I guess a committed relationship or a long term relationship. But like I said, me on the other hand, bro, man, I didn't have any good experience. I didn't have a good experience at all, bro. I'm just being 100% honest.
Yeah, it
Like
happens, man.
most of the women that I met, yeah, it was like a short term, like a fling type of thing. You know what I mean? Nothing serious. I wanted one thing, and then she wanted the same thing, and then we just go our separate ways. There was a misunderstanding. But as far as a long term relationship, this is the next thing that I wanted to lead into. You know what I mean, or segue into it was the expectations versus reality. You know what I mean? Because the girl that I dated, she knew my situation. I was an English school teacher, but I guess her mom and through generations they instilled this a notion, a preconceived notion or whatever, you know what I mean, in their head, like, oh, if you're going to get married, your man has to have his own house, he has to have some cars, he has to be invested in some businesses. So I was dating this girl and she was like, oh, I can't wait till I get a Maserati or a mansion. I was like, yeah, I was thinking in my head, like, bro, like, I don't understand, like, where do you, well, I kind of already brought him up, but it's like
Yeah.
through her friends who did have wealthy boyfriends or whatever, she expected for me to be in the same boat, bro. I'm a freaking teacher in China, man. I'm not over there making millions of dollars. How am I gonna buy you a Maserati and a mansion? You
I
know what I
never
mean?
had that
It's
kind of experience.
impossible. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like this, like the relationship, man. Like, look, man, I
I
genuinely
think
like
some
this girl, but she was like just very what's the opposite of thoughtful? I can't even think of the word right
it
now.
was like selfish or something.
Yeah, just very like inconsiderate, and it's always
Mm,
about her. And at that time I was, I guess, kind of naive because it was my first like serious relationship and my only serious relationship in China, and I was like, dang, bro. But I can't say like one bad apple turned me away, but I kind of looked at it and I heard the same stories from my friends where these girls or young women, whatever you want to call them, have these expectations that don't really meet reality, bro. Why you see so many single Chinese men in China, bro? Because these girls want them to be. They all want a rich man. You know what I mean? And that's no difference from the girls in the West, also. But I was like, man, this is like, if that's the case, man, I'm just gonna be single forever while I'm over there, just mess around, and that's it. It's not gonna go any further than that. But I do have some friends who actually got married, have kids, and they love their life right now. So, like I said, I'm not saying everybody's like that, but my overall experience as far as like dating and serious relationship in China is, I don't know, it was terrible, man.
I've met a lot of I guess you would say frugal women. Like they don't really spend money like that. And if you spend money, then sometimes they'd be like, no, don't spend no money on that. Like
Yeah.
But I guess I have a different type of women that I go for, maybe, or maybe everybody's. There was the old saying, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Everybody likes different things, and
Yeah.
so maybe I tend to go for different type of women. I don't know, man. But
I mean, I had some good relationships, bro. Like when I lived in Korea, man, I had a amazing. Maybe it's karma for anyone who believes that. I had an amazing girlfriend in Korea, man. Like, dang, man, I still can't believe like I was stupid and let her go away, man. And maybe that was like, like, okay, you want to, I'll put someone good in your life, you know what I mean, and you treat them bad, and then you're gonna suffer for it when it's your turn to experience, somebody who doesn't care for you. You know what I mean?
So what's your when it comes to dating? You lived in Korea, you lived here in China, and now you're in Vietnam living. For those three countries compared to America, what was the major difference, or is there a major difference? And which one do you prefer?
There is a huge difference. Do you see what's going on in the West, bro? Men are put
now though.
Men. Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, men are put on to not like women. You know what I mean? Like, there's a divide, and then women be like, oh, women are also, I don't need a man. You know what I mean? So it's like that automatically like turns me off, man. Because I like for my woman to have feminine traits, or traditional in a sense, not completely. You know what I mean? Like, I'd still like somebody to, have a job and be independent or whatever. I'm not gonna tie a noose around somebody.
It's gotta be a balance.
Dog. Yeah, exactly. But I think the Western society. I don't know if I'm going to say as a whole, because then I'll be just generalizing. There's, like I said, there's definitely good people out there, but it feels like men and women are at war, with each other. There's always some sort of divide. And when I lived in Korea, I think Korea, honestly, that was like my best experience as far as, I guess, meeting women and having a genuine experience. You know what I mean? But like back then also, bro, I was like 18. I was fresh. 18-year-old in Korea. What do you think I did for all the years that I was there, bro?
I was young in the Philippines. When I was in the Philippines, I was a young dude, and I had good experience.
So what was your question again? Sorry, bro. Like,
just like the difference, like, is the major difference, like which do you prefer? Would you prefer, like, did you prefer dating Western women, or do you prefer like Asian women, or in Asia in particular, out of three countries you've lived, which place would you say you would prefer to have a partner from?
Dude, I haven't dated a Western woman since I left America like 15, almost 16 years ago, bro. So I'm not saying that maybe this could be somebody that's, like I said, there's got to be somebody decent out there, but it's from what I can see, man, like every time I went to the States, I had no time for that. I had to go to work and grind, bro, so I can come back to Asia, because I feel like this is where my heart is. You know what I mean? Or they say home is where the heart is, and I guess my heart is somewhere in Asia. That's why I keep coming back. Vietnam, Korea, China, who else? Who knows what's next? So I definitely prefer, and this is me generalizing, is like I just prefer Asian women. You know, it
What
doesn't matter if they're
what's
Korean
your
and
biggest
Chinese.
sorry, I got another question. What's your biggest age gap relationship? The gap
Bro,
in
like I
the
said,
age.
I didn't have, you mean like just this
The difference.
seriously
The
dating or
the
just
the difference
what?
between the age. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Probably maybe like, I don't know, probably the most like 10 years.
Wow. I'm just
Yeah, but
curious.
like I said, it was also nothing serious, man. It's just, a woman who might have been divorced, and she's just, maybe she has some money and her daughters or her sons are grown and out of the house, and she wants to go and do her thing because she was forced to be in a marriage at an early age. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah.
mean? So she didn't have time to experience life per se, so now actually that's happens a lot to me in China. Women who marry early and didn't have time to explore, you know, the scene or whatever you want to call it, dip their toes. I don't know how to really articulate it, but that's but then it happens when they were like, dang, I kind of missed out on my youth. So they
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
try to relive that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially I guess people more our age or like my age specifically, like they tend to get married when they were really young. So they
Yeah,
just kind of like, the family introduced them to somebody, they got married and they didn't experience anything else. And then they get
yeah,
kind of curious, I guess, because they missed out on that. Which for us, in the West, we're more open about sexuality and stuff. So we kind of, you know, you start playing around when you're young and you get a lot of experience doing that. And then, I guess
yeah,
not everybody, but some people, we want to settle down or have like a steady partner that we're gonna be with for a long time or whatever, because you've already
yeah,
done all the other stuff. And sometimes here in Asia, they kind of the opposite.
yeah, yeah. That's true, man. Um, man, and I never had girls like in the when I did date chicks in the West or in US or whatever. They never try to introduce me to their family, but in Asia, that's usually means one thing. You know what I mean? When they let you meet mom and dad, you already
Yeah,
know what time it is. You know what I mean?
that's actually that's kind of a good tip for anybody who's if you've never dated anywhere in Asia. It's kind of the same way in most countries I've been anyway. Like
Yeah,
if you come here to date somebody, a lot of places they don't even really date. It's just like if
true.
somebody's with you, then it's kind of like they expect that to be something serious. And so,
Yeah,
you know, a lot of times it's just to people who don't know, but like if a woman is inviting you to see her family and you've only seen her like once or twice, I mean, it's not uncommon for women to bring up the subject of getting married, as meeting her family and all this and that, and that means they're serious. So
yeah,
if you're not that type of person who I would say don't play with these girls' hearts and break their hearts, because then it's going to give everybody else from your place a bad reputation or a bad name.
yeah,
And you don't want to be that dude. But not all girls are like that, but oftentimes there's not really such thing as dating for a lot of
yeah,
places. Not so much in China in particular. China's a little different because China's more developed, and but some of these other
yeah,
places it's like that. But
yeah. That makes sense, bro. Like I said, man, throughout the vast experiences that me and you both had, man, it's yeah, definitely learned a lot. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And
I'm speaking from
I'm just
experience. I've made this mistake myself, and I
yeah,
felt bad about it. But I
I'm
just
just
didn't know
trying to
any
put in
better.
perspective what exactly did I learn? You know what I'm saying? Like I can't even I don't I know I learned something, but I can't really articulate as to what exactly I learned, and it kind of sounds like kind of contradicting, but I don't know, man. Like it's just I don't know. I can't really put it. I can't really touch on it.
Well,
This incident.
I think you can actually learn. You can learn a lot about yourself too by
Yeah,
experiencing dating with women from different cultures, and oftentimes, you'll learn things about yourself, about some things that they have and their
Yeah.
culture that you're missing in your own life or in your own culture. And sometimes you can find a way to incorporate that. Like you mentioned earlier, for example, the family aspect. Like I've
Yeah.
never had like really close family, and then dating some of these girls, and I've seen how their families even treated me like family because they were so good to me. Then I kind of
Yeah.
understood more about Asian culture and the value of family and things like that and how important it was. So
Yeah.
that kind of, I learned from that, and it helped me go back and I would say rekindle or fix some of the relationships that I had with my own family that was
Hmm.
missing. And like I learned ways that I could do that, like things that I could incorporate to make those relationships better and make my
Yeah.
family closer with, my parents and stuff like that. Things, those kind of things. So
I mean, I
I've
guess to
learned
put it,
in that way.
yeah, I guess to put it in a nutshell, kind of, you know, this is what you learn living abroad. Like I said, I couldn't really articulate it, but yeah, the same thing. Like especially in Korea, man. Like when I dated this Korean girl, her family was actually very accepting, and I come from, you know, from being adopted and let go, so never really experienced what family was like. So through the love that her family showed, I grew attached more to the girl. You know what I was like? Because I was like, man, this is cool. Like maybe in your subconscious, be like, yo, I want to be with this type of uh, type of girl
Yeah,
because her family, she has good, strong family values. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's
it gives
something
you a sense
that I
of
value.
belonging.
Yeah, yeah. As a person who never really had this, so kind of see her family through her and be like, oh, okay, she's gonna end up like her dad was a businessman. Her mom, well, actually, her mom just was chilling at home. You know, she didn't have to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Her dad owned like 4 factories in South Korea. So, yeah, man, it's like you learn. That's the most important thing is like you know, immersing yourself in the culture, because if you don't, man, you're gonna just be an outcast in Asia. Well, not in Asia, wherever you are. You're gonna be like one of those foreigners that hate being there, you know, without
yeah,
the
yeah.
immersion. You know, uh, like I said, we touched on this before, but yo, is there anything else you want to add, bro? We going on almost an hour.
I don't know, man. Yeah, just overall, I guess I'll just say overall, my experience has been I've had a wide range of experience when it comes to dating in Asia. Both
Yeah,
good and bad. Like I've had long-term relationships that were great. I've had short-term relationships that were great. Some that were not so great. But overall, it's been a pretty positive experience. When it comes to dating different types of Asian girls, especially Chinese girls. 'Cause I've been in China the longest. Um, but the landscape is changing now. It's a little different than you've been gone for a little bit. It's a little different
yeah.
now than what it used to be. Um,
It's
but
crazy how we could change it so vastly in 3 years, bro. I've been
yeah,
gone for only 3 years, man. You know,
and
but
I've
as
had some
far as
age gap relationships
yeah,
too. I just want to mention that real quick. So I know there's an older dude watching who's uh, the
never
last
dated
girl I
a
went out on a
younger
date
girl.
with. The last girl I went on a date with was 21 years old, and I'm
Damn.
42. So
That's always been a not a good experience for me, bro.
yeah, it wasn't, but it's just like I guess knowing that that's possible.
Yeah,
As you get older and things start to fade, like you start to lose the way you look and things like that, it still gives you
yeah,
that boost of confidence that makes you realize, okay, people are not just interested in me because I look a certain way. There's maybe something else about me that
yeah,
people may like. So it kind of brings those kind of things into perspective for you. But yeah, there's a huge age gap. I think
yeah.
it looks better than what it really is.
Yo, you
I,
ever
I haven't
dated
had good experience with it.
somebody from a
An
Uyghur
Uber
girl,
girl.
Chinese
Uh,
Muslim girl?
yeah, yeah. No, I haven't. I haven't had that chance. Actually, every single girl I've ever dated in China was Cantonese. I've never dated a non-Cantonese girl.
Yo, can
I've
you
been in
speak some
Guangdong the whole
Cantonese?
time. Yeah, I can. But
Yeah,
yeah, I've
because
never
he's
I've never dated a girl from another
from
province.
Guangzhou.
Yeah, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, like local Shenzhen people, Foshan, Zhongshan, Huizhou, Hong Kong, Macau. But I've never dated a girl outside of Canton, outside of Guangdong area. I've never
Mm.
dated a girl who's from another province, like from Hunan or something like that. I've never dated any of them girls. So
I've
I've
actually
only
met
dated
some.
Cantonese girls.
I actually met some girls from what is it, Xinjiang?
Yeah,
No,
Xinjiang, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
I met some.
Muslim usually.
Yeah, they were, and they, you know what they did, bro? They were DJs at the clubs in Coco Park.
Go DJ.
Yeah, I still remember her, man. Her name was Coco.
Coco.
Yeah, man. They were all from that area, man. It was like it was like a little clique of them. You know what I mean? But yeah, bro. So like, what do you think, man? Like, I want to ask you this question. Like, do you want to be with somebody still, or you kind of like doing your own? You want to kind of do your own thing and focus on yourself right now and try to figure out your next move. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. I have mixed feelings about that, man. To be honest with you, I haven't been in a relationship in a little while, and at first, um, I wanted to, and I dated
Yeah.
around a little bit, and then I was like, I think I'm just gonna take a break and just,
Yeah, I remember
get
you
in
went
touch
on a
with
little
myself a
dating
little
spree.
bit. Yeah. I decided I was gonna like take a little break and just get in touch with myself and learn more about myself and just try to make myself. There was a big ass bottle of water, and
Hydrated, bro.
I was gonna get in touch with myself a little bit and just try to learn more about myself and try to make
Yeah.
some improvements to myself. So the next girl that I do decide to date will be the best girl I've ever dated. You know what I mean? If I'm the highest quality person I can be, then I'm
Yeah.
gonna attract the highest quality person. So that's kind of the thing right now. It's been kind of, thinking about myself a little bit, trying to make myself better. Not for
Yeah.
a woman per se, for myself, but I think, if you're your best self, you'll attract the best partner for you. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay, that's what's up. I mean, that makes sense. And I know you didn't ask me, but it's for me, bro. I don't know, man. I just feel like I don't even have time for that right now, man. I just man, over
Is
here,
there
bro,
something
the grind don't stop, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know y'all got a lot of work to do. I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you about that though. Like, is there something about Viet? Because you're in Vietnam, right? You're in Ho Chi Minh. Is there something
Yeah.
about the girls there in Ho Chi Minh that makes them different in any way, that makes you feel like you don't want to date them, or is it just
I'm just not in,
you're busy, just not really thinking about it? Like, what's going on with that?
Bro, just genuinely just not interested, man. It's like, oh man, I hope your viewers don't kill me, bro. But it just reminds me of like the whole dating experience in China, bro. A lot of the women that I've seen here, man, they're just all about self. You know what I mean? Like, not in a good way, but I'm talking about like a selfishness. You know what I mean? Me. They're taking 1,000 selfies, and bro, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I used to think like it's cool, a girl like she likes herself this much when I was younger, and these days I'm just turned off because it's gotten to the point where it's just all about everything's about you. The world is owes you something, and I don't know, bro. I just genuinely, I'm not interested at all, man. Like,
Yeah.
I heard
I'm
this
not a
old
fan.
saying, man. Like, if she comes to you, you will know. You know what? I don't know how to say it or whatever. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but like, if you'll feel it. You get to the age. We're now at an age where we're able to discern if someone has good intentions or not, man. And people are kind of easy to read, man, once you spend some quality time with them, I guess. And like I said, the date, bro, I don't know, man. The girls here don't even look at me, bro. You know what I mean? So like, if they
I feel
don't
that way
even give me,
sometimes.
if they don't even give me an eye, yeah, I don't need to even go and approach. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be wasting my time. I'm not one of those type of dudes anymore where I'll approach 100 women and hopefully one of them will be like, hey, I ain't got no time. I ain't got time to do that anymore, bro.
I ain't doing all of that. Yeah, I ain't
Try to be
chasing no woman like that.
Casanova.
Yeah, I ain't chasing no woman like that, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, bro. You know what type of things I used to do, bro, to go out of my way to meet a girl, man, it's like the thing in between the legs, bro, became like the, you know, if we had motivation like this in real life outside of that, bro, men can accomplish some great things, bro. You know,
Man,
if
when
we
I
were
was
that motivated.
when I was 16, man, I'd drive across the damn country to get some of that. But nowadays
Exactly, bro.
I can't even bother going 5 minutes down the street to the shopping mall, go meet somebody. I'm like, nah, I
Right?
ain't. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine you had this motivation to go for your dreams, bro. You'll be unstoppable. You know what I mean? You'd be a juggernaut,
Yeah.
bro. You know?
True,
But yeah, man,
true,
I was
true.
the same way, bro. I traveled from like shoot, man, from over there where I was living close to North Korea to like southern Korea, bro, like 6 hours away and back to meet some chick, bro. Like, dude, I don't want to even go across the street, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because sometimes, man, I think some of it is because I just don't think it'll be worth it. Like like you
Yeah.
said, you go out somewhere and you see some girl just whatever somewhere where you visit, you eating or whatever, and some girl like they be like this, man. They be like got their phone like it's like
Yeah.
20 minutes just be taking pictures of themselves. It's like 20 minutes. Like, damn, you just
Nah, bro.
take 20 pictures of yourself. You that obsessed with yourself? Like,
See that?
I don't know,
This
man.
is so
It's
weird
not
to
my
me, bro.
thing.
Like, so unattractive to me, bro. You know
Yeah,
what I
I
mean?
don't
Like,
I don't like that too.
anyway, bro. Like, maybe we can end this in like 5 minutes if you want.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
But
We need to cancel this, man.
But yeah, man.
What else you got?
But like I said, my overall dating experience, man, like I guess if I can maybe rate it from a 1 to 5 system or whatever, I'll probably say it was like a 3. You know what I mean? I'm just speaking on the behalf of like I don't know, bro. Like I don't know,
Going
man.
middle road.
In
I
China,
think
I had a good experience as far as getting women and adding bodies to your body count or whatever, you know what I mean? But as far as serious relationships, man, I didn't have a really good experience. Here in Vietnam, it's non-existent. So if I would say it, man, like my best dating experience was like when I was young and there was that puppy love. And when you and a girl are obsessed with each other. I think that was the best feeling that I ever had in my life, bro. When I had my first girlfriend. Actually, she was a black chick. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's a different type of love. It's like a young love. That's why now, like, if you see these like older students and you can tell, you know what I mean, that they're just now dating each other, and they're crazy about each other. I kind of miss this type of, you know what I mean? It's like when you get older, that is like almost non-existent because reality kind of catches up with you as well. Like, do you understand what I'm saying, man? That nothing is better than that young love. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yes. It's like one of them things that you like. You've had it before, and then everything after that, it's just never the same.
It's like drugs, bro. You try to chase that.
Yeah, and even if the girl is better or whatever, everything's better, but it's still the feeling is still different. That's just that. It's just something different, man. It's just one of those things that I never. Oh, I don't know. I can't say never but it's never happened to me. That feelings never came back again. Like it's a one-time thing.
So how was your overall experience as far as dating goes? You think you would ever meet it's kind of weird to say this, like a chick. We always want to top ourselves, but you think you ever meet a good chick like your last chick? Not to compare them, but like you think you'll ever come across somebody like that again, or
yeah,
different in a way also, you know what I mean?
I don't, it's not impossible for sure. I mean, I think it'll happen. For me right now, that's not even really what I'm looking for. I'm not looking, I guess you could say, but also things often happen when you're not looking. But
True.
I just, like I said, working on myself. But when it comes to the overall experience, it's been pretty good. Good. The long relationships have been good. Never anything bad. Nothing too crazy as far as any like kind of crazy breakup or anything like that. And then there's been short experiences that were good and not so good, but nothing like crazy. I haven't came across some like, you know,
Yeah.
crazy gold diggers, or no chicks that like want to do violent stuff and tear up your shit or something like that. I've never had any kind of thing like that in here in Asia, but I've had it in the West, but that's another story. But yeah, but yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. But I will say this: I've like had Chinese girls. I would say like had them like a relationship with them, nothing like that. But I've had like girls like I've met online or some random place, and some of them are just nasty. Like they're into some nasty stuff, and they'll say some nasty stuff to you or ask you for some nasty stuff that I'm just not even interested in. But I'm like, man, this. I don't know, but
I'm kind of curious. What are you talking about?
Just some weird stuff, man. I've had girls like send me a message and like ask me to like take a picture with some socks on or something. Like they want you to be naked and wear some socks or some weird shit.
Experiences like that.
Yeah,
before,
I've had some crazy girls ask me like, can you send me your old underwear or your old socks or something.
Yo, I had this experience, bro.
Man. I ain't finna do all that.
Some chick asked me to take a picture of my the boxes that I just wore that day, bro. I was like, huh?
Yeah, that's weird, man. I mean? People be some weird. They be saying some weird stuff, and that's
like
automatic.
Yeah.
For me, it's like automatic delete. Some girl asked me some stuff like that. You automatically out of here.
It makes me think it's like some dude. It's like some dude, man. It's like when that usually happens to me, I find out it's like some dude that's pretending to be a chick all his life, bro. You know what I mean?
It ain't Coco. It's Kevin, something like that. some weird stuff like that be going on. But yeah, man, I've had some weird stuff like that. That's for me. That's automatic out of here, man. I ain't out of get that out of here. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah, I'm good on that. But yo, you want to close us out, bro?
Yeah, we out of here, guys. Thanks if those of y'all who's still here, or if you're here, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And you know, anytime y'all got any questions or something like that, you know, y'all let us know. We'll be happy to talk about that, like the first part of this. And we really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. You got anything to say, Alice?
Nah, man, just you know, like I said, hopefully we keep this going consistently. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of good to come over here and talk about some stuff, or you know, experience as foreigners living abroad or whatever. Like I said, there's a whole plethora of topics we can discuss, and you know, and for those of you who are watching, you know, feel free to. I'm sure you will. It's fine by you. It's your channel, bro. But if there's anything you guys want us to talk about and discuss, like I said, we have a combination of almost 30-something years of with different experiences as well that we can touch about, you know, visas, getting jobs. Like I said, any questions whatsoever, feel free to ask or leave it in the comments, you know, and we'll try to address these things, you know, on the next live.
You got any social media where they can find you at if they want to like come like send you a message or like DM you or watch a video or anything like that? You got anything like that?
Bro, you can just link my channel if you want, bro. But like, I don't know, I kind of
you're not very active over there.
yeah, just I don't know, man. But here's one thing, bro. Like, here's the thing, man. I genuinely decided, man, I kind of want to help somebody. You know what I mean? I don't really want to be the dude in front of the camera. So like, this summer we both will have a pretty long break, man. So I mean, I can try to go over there for a week or so, and then you come over here and we can help you shoot some more videos, bro.
Yeah, man, I'll be down to do that. I gotta take a quick trip to the Philippines too. But you know, I got a long time. I got like 7 weeks or something like that.
Yo, if you need some company, bro, let me know, because I'll be down to go.
Oh, word. Okay, we'll sort that out.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, man. Thanks for watching. Y'all know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Any questions, leave them in the comments below down there, and we can get to them, or we can make a video about it for y'all if that's what y'all want to see. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks, y'all. All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll see y'all next time, man. Take care. Peace.